Hey, we're sitting here talking to ourselves, and I got the message, Danny. We are streaming live on Facebook, and we're even 3 minutes early. How about that?
That's awesome. Go us. Hello, world.
So I'll tell you, if it's Thursday, it's Think Tank for us here at Trainertainment, and we're so delighted to be here. We appreciate our partners. I feel like all of our partners are digital sponsors nowadays because we haven't been able to get together at a live conference. And Creative Works is one of those live conference sponsors. And I'm so thrilled, Danny, to have you here. Danny, say your formal title. I know you're not one for
My
formality, but
my
give
formal title. Well, my formal title is the Vice President of Marketing at Creative Works.
There you go. I thought you had a VP title. That's pretty impressive.
You're making me sound fancier than I really am.
Well, and for such a young guy too. I mean, really, I admire. I so admire what you all do over there at Creative Works. I love Mondo. I know you do too. You're one of those Mondo followers, aren't you? Didn't you
Well,
all work together?
I've actually known Armando for more than half of my life. My very first job, it is one of those things that's kind of funny to think about. My first job ever,
Yeah.
15 years old, was in this industry. I worked at a
Yeah.
laser tag center.
Yeah.
Did laser tag marshal and birthday party host and trainer and did all that stuff through high school and college. But he was the general manager of that location. And so,
Yeah.
he has been kind of a manager and mentor throughout my entire life and my entire career. So
Yeah.
I've known him quite a long time. And like many people in the industry, I kind of fell backwards into it and I've not left because I like this industry. I love it. It's fun.
Oh, what's addictive, and I'm telling you, it's probably really going to look different. Uh, Maybe I don't know. I
Nobody
don't
does.
know. I don't know that we know. We don't know anything, do we? That's kind
No,
of
and when we think we understand something, it changes 2 days later.
it does. It
Yeah.
absolutely does. It absolutely does. Well, let me just physically thank Bowling Music Network and Redemption Plus. They are our formal digital sponsors of Think Tank and of our webinars. And we're so excited to have Danny, the Vice President of Marketing at Creative Works, on with us today. Danny's done a Think Tank with us before, and I'm pretty excited about this thing that Creative Works has done for the industry. I'm on a partner call. We all get together. We're all trying to slay dragons and solve the problems of the world. And one of the things that you guys did was to create a website called Amusement Recovery, and you did it overnight practically, which really makes me wonder why the heck anytime I've changed the website, and I bet in 15 years we've changed the website like 6 times. It's one of my very favorite things to do. It makes me insane because I'm not a marketing genius like you are. And y'all put that up overnight. You think I'm kidding, Danny? I think in a meeting this week or maybe last week, we were talking about marketing, and I said, when I send you what Danny's doing, I mean it. Do whatever he did because it's really good.
Well, I appreciate the praise, and you're making me blush. I don't want to. Creative Works is not the mastermind behind this. There was a lot of different companies and a lot of leaders in the industry involved.
Yeah.
This is not a Creative Works project. This is a community project. There's
You
a lot
help
of
you help
people.
drive it though. I mean,
Yeah, we put together the code of the website essentially and hosted it, but it was a driving force of a lot of people, and I want to make sure that everybody is getting credit for being involved in this because it's
yeah,
not a Creative Works thing. There were a lot of companies that put effort in, and the reason why it was created is this is hard, right? What we're going through
yeah,
right now is hard. There's no way around that.
yeah,
But we wanted to try to provide some actionable pieces that operators could take away. We worked with other leaders in the industry to create a website with a singular mission, and that mission is to help amusement operators get through these hard times and create a plan for recovery on the other side.
Well, no, I love it.
Entire thing is 100% education, and all we want to do is empower business owners to endure this and thrive on the other side as best they can.
That's great. I like that. I like the word thrive better than survive, because it's got to be better than that. You know, for those of us that are facing what we can do every day, we don't want to just survive. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I commend whoever thought of the name of the site, Amusement Recovery. I think is just a genius. I think it's really good. It's really good. So if that was yours, congratulations. So what are you hoping to accomplish today? Because I don't know if you're like me, but it's like, okay, there's today, and then there's next week, next month, and we hear new things day by day. What are you hoping to accomplish today?
Well, there's been kind of this a bit of a joke going around recently because of the movie Frozen 2. There's a line or a song where they say, all you can do is the next right thing. Oh. You can't see all the way down the path. Yeah. And that's what any of us are trying to do right now. We're all trying to do the next right thing for our companies, for our employees, for our people, for our families. Yeah. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so in our eyes, and those who helped contribute to it, Amusement Mastery is a hub of knowledge to help business owners with the next right thing, whether it's related to finance or leadership or communication or marketing. We want to empower people. So if there's a business owner that's watching right now, or even someone who is getting ready to open their first facility, if any of them can walk away with one nugget from that website, then it's a success.
Good.
If they walk away with one thing they didn't know or didn't think about previously, then our job was a success, and that's what we want.
That's great. I know, and I need to get my head wrapped around more to contribute to the site as well, because that's where we are. I mean, I think that's one of the fun things about our companies that I think has always created such a I don't know, synergy, or I don't know what it is we have with y'all, but
a little je ne sais quoi.
There you go. That's it. There you go. I haven't started my day drinking yet, so I can't ever speak other languages until I've had a couple. So, and then I'm quite fluent, at least in my own mind. So
we can turn this into ThinkTank Thursdays with a glass of wine, right?
With a glass of wine, that could give it a whole new je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
There you go. How are you feeling? How are you making decisions about the messaging that you put out for your company at this point?
Well, there's a lot in that question. So I'll start with the company side first.
Okay.
One of the things that we realized very early on, this is not a time for selling. Since America has really gotten hit more seriously with coronavirus and the COVID-19 illness, we've stopped all email marketing. We've stopped promotional stuff online. We're just not doing that at the moment, because that's not what this time is supposed to be about. Our messaging has been a lot of one-on-one with our team, talking to their clients or those people they've been working with for a long time, offering support, offering resources, and it's things like the amusement recovery, doing interviews like this one, trying to bring people together to give them value. So that's how we've made decisions about what we're doing right now. Is it's not a time for marketing, and I think that goes hand in hand. I'm going to go a little bit on a tangent here, so I apologize.
No.
That kind of goes hand in hand with one of the things that I think a lot of operators need to be thinking right now, is that, let's take social media, for example. In normal circumstances, when we don't have this happening, I think too many operators try to use social media as like a selling platform, as a billboard, buy. But the businesses that perform best on social media follow a philosophy whether they intend to or not, from Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, which is jab, 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 right hook. In his mind, a jab is a piece of valuable content, something cute, funny, entertaining, something for your audience. And a right hook is an ask, maybe something you're trying to sell. And he says that for every one right hook, you should be doing 8 or 9 jabs on normal circumstances. So 80 to 90% of your social media messaging should be non-salesy. And then right now with what we're going through, I think for most businesses, that's turning into 100%. And businesses are trying to find ways to engage with their community, knowing that they're not going to be able to sell something more than likely without coming across as tone deaf. And they can't bring people into their facility. And so this is a people business, this is an experience business, and they're looking for ways to engage their audience outside of sales. Now, to bring it back around to your original question, again, I apologize for the diversion there. You asked how kind of I'm feeling, and there was something that I heard a couple of weeks ago in a mastermind call that I'm in, something about the Stockdale paradox. Are you familiar with this?
I'm not.
And it is the idea that we can have the honesty to face our current reality and what it is, but we can simultaneously have the faith that we're going to prevail in the end.
Oh, great.
And I really like that. And I think that's the important thing for a lot of us right now, is that we need to face reality on reality's terms and what's really happening in our jobs, the economy, our families, our community, the impact on our loved ones. But we can also have the faith and that we're going to come out the other side victorious, that we're going to not just survive, but thrive on the other end of this. So that's been something that's going through my head a lot lately.
That's great. The Stockdale theory. That's really good. That's good. And we can hold more than one thing in our mind at one time.
Yeah, we are not binary creatures.
No. What I want to give a shout out. I know Mark Weiss and Carrie and Brad Little are out there, and Lewis Sims. Those are all wonderful fans and friends of ours. And guys, I just want you to know, if you're out there on Facebook and you have a question for me or for Danny, please ask. Danny, when I was listening to you about, I love the fact that you said if we're right hooking, we're being tone deaf to what the market needs right now. And in our peer talk yesterday, one of our clients had very successfully held I don't know if you were on that, Armando was, but one of our clients very successfully held an 80s dance party, and they did it live on Facebook. And it was just awesome. And they had connected with their community, the shopping area and center they were in. And so all those people had future offerings and stuff like that. And more than 500 people were participating in this live experience. And so those are the creative, entertaining things. We're entertainment. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. And they did it in the best way they could under the circumstances. And I got to believe that will have great legs in the future, don't you?
I think that goes to show that because people are quarantined at home for the most part, I know every state and community is a little bit different, but because people are quarantined at home and they can't leave, they're craving ways to be able to engage and do things different and entertain themselves. There's only so much Netflix you can watch on your couch before you want something different. Yeah. And that's awesome that you've got clients who are thinking creatively on ways that they can deliver that value and that escape for their community, knowing that people can't actually come to their facility.
Yeah, I think it'll have great impact on the other side. I think it's something people will remember. So anyway, well, so hey, what's been different, if anything, about your work life? I know that you're not in you are not in Indiana. Right?
Correct.
You live over in North Carolina or someplace cool like that?
Yes, North Carolina. That's right.
So what, if anything, has changed about your day-to-day work life, because this has been a tremendous disruption, right, to our
Mhm.
clients. I talked to Barry from Big Thrill, and he was so funny. He called me the other morning. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he said, "I've just been running through my facility doing an unlimited play pass all by myself. I got to ride everything." And I thought, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, all these people are used to being with a lot, like all those things we just took for granted. You and I, we kind of work from home anyway, so
Mhm.
maybe your day-to-day life is not as impacted, but I'm curious to know
So
what's different.
it's a good question and a good observation. You're right. In my role, I work remotely almost 100% of the time. I travel and I go to the office frequently, things like that, about every month. But my day to day is out of my home office, which I'm in right now. And so it's very interesting to be in a position where so much of the social and work fabric of our country has been flipped upside down, but
Yeah,
mine has remained relatively unchanged.
yeah,
So it's a unique position to be in. One of the really great things I've gotten out of this is my wife works for a software company here in Charlotte, and she's been working, and everyone at her company's been working 100% remote. So it's been awesome being able to eat lunch with her every single day of the week, and
that's
just
great.
getting more quality time is just that's been a really welcome change, and just having
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah, that's my thing. I've been hanging on is unintended outcomes, not unintended consequences. We're gonna have plenty of those too, but I'm focused on what the unintended outcomes are, and I have a genuine appreciation of my home. Like, I'm so happy I have this home and that groom, and like you said, time to spare. That's really awesome. Hey, Carrie and Brad Little have a great question that they posted on Facebook. And I know this is so relevant because of Creative Works in Holligate. How do you see VR being affected going forward?
Well, that's a good question, and I think there's actually a different way to ask that question. I think it's how are attractions going to be impacted?
Yes, yes.
Because VR is an easy example because you have something that you're
You
literally putting
put
on your
on your
face.
face.
But I think any attraction, because there's so many things that we touch and feel, whether it's a bowling ball or arcade games or anything in between, the way we interact with things at an entertainment center is very tactile. We touch things.
Yeah.
And I think that there's going to be, um, what is the term we've been using? This an idea of or concept of cleaning theater,
Uh-huh.
that when we return to some sense of normalcy, when we open, whether that's phased or when we get to 100% capacity, there's going to be an expectation that we're going to have to make the sanitation and the cleaning as part of the show and part
Uh,
of the experience. It's like, if before this happened, you could walk into a busy restaurant and they kind of halfway wipe down the table and then they sit you down and you're like, whatever, it's fine. That's not going to
that won't
happen
be
anymore.
fine. Yeah,
We're going to
won't be
go,
fine
hold
anymore.
on, I can take an extra 20 seconds, wipe that down really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to happen regardless of the type of attractions or experiences that we provide. I think across the board, sanitation and cleanliness is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And we don't know, at least here in America, we don't know if this is going to be something that will forever change the social fabric and the way that we interact with each other and with objects around us, or if we'll have the short-term memory and stubbornness that 6 months down the line we go back to kind of normal. We don't know, but right now we have to move forward assuming that this is going to be part of our new normal.
I agree. I agree.
But thank you for that question, Brad.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. So, are there new ways of doing things? I mean, day to day now that you're going to want to keep? Like, might your wife get to work home at home, or that be an option from now on? I wonder, because I think some people are going to have really discovered they love that, and some are going to discover they don't. We know lots of parents have discovered they're not homeschool teachers, and they want that to be done. But are there any of those things? Is there something about the pace at which things are right now that you might like to not have to trade in for what I would refer to as the frenzy of busy? That's why we decided initially to even do ThinkTank, because I really, and maybe this is just personal, maybe I'm too wrapped up in the frenzy of busy, that I can be so in the weeds and in the business that I don't work on the business. And I know in the role of CEO, I need to work on the business. So is there anything that you've discovered about the pace at which you're doing things that you might like to adopt for the future?
Pace, not necessarily. We're doing things. We have a culture where we're always pushing ourselves to do things quicker and faster and just like really improve ourselves. But I think that not so much the pace, but the priority shifting that's happened.
Yeah.
And so it's something where what I've seen not only in our own company, but in some of our peers and our clients and people even outside of our industry, is the shift in priority of empathy. And that's been something that I think has been amazing to see. Yes, that we can spend time watching the news. We can talk about all the negatives in the economy and the this and that. And there's always going to be plenty of that.
Yeah.
But when we look and we see, I know that in my own self, I have, I think, grown a lot in my empathy of others and seeing how this is impacting other people and feeling very fortunate to be in a position where I am still working and I have the ability to work from home, because not everybody has that.
Right.
And I think seeing that across our industry and across other industries is something that's been amazing. And I hope that's something that does stick and that moves forward, and we can all have an increased level of empathy for one another, whether that is, us empathizing with our clients who run businesses, or like you said, parents empathizing with the teachers who take care of their kids all day, every day, who they are. I'm sure a lot of parents are going, wow, teachers really deserve a raise.
Exactly. And maybe the next time that they think they want to go jump on a teacher for whatever decision they had to make, they'll have a whole lot more understanding about, little Johnny, sit up and behave, do your homework. Oh, wow. Well, I really appreciate that. I know I've had more great conversations with other business owners in the last 4 weeks than I have in the last 4 years. And that is so meaningful to me. And the support is incredible. And it's the right word, Danny, empathy with and for one another, and just lets you look a little bit longer or be just a little bit longer in somebody else's shoes. Because, our shoes all kind of fit the same right now, don't they? I mean, for real. So,
and something that you mentioned is that, we are all socially quarantined, but I think there's been a huge effort and outreach among friends, family, business owners, community, to be very intentional about calling, about FaceTiming or a Zoom video chat or anything in between. I think we realized it, this perspective shift can show us that it's important to have those connections and meaningful conversations now that we have the time to appreciate that.
Yes.
And a lot of us, whether we're still as busy as we were, a lot of people have, extra time, or what I'll call margin or white space in their life, where it needs to be filled with things they can't do anymore. It's how are we filling that time? What are the things that we're focusing on? And I think that community outreach and connecting with others has been awesome.
It really has been. Well, and that's why the Amusement, we'll take that full circle and say that's why the Amusement Recovery website is such a good thing at this time, because people are, I think, slowed down just enough to decide to educate, to get information, to take some stuff in that, we've all been wanting to read this book or that, and it's fantastic. I do want to acknowledge Doug Roth. Thank you for that great question, or really statement. He says that he fears that for birthday parties in the future, that nobody's going to want to have a birthday party with kids wearing masks and invite a group of kids into that environment. But I would challenge you, Doug. I will challenge that thought, because I always try to think about how the consumer will think and put myself in the consumer's shoes. And I happen to think that private gatherings, be it a birthday party, a church event, a company event, like all of those things are going to be far more attractive than individuals walking in and coming to hang out with a bunch of people they don't know. I would much rather go to a party or a group event where I knew people, because maybe it's arrogance or naivete. I feel more comfortable and more confident that the people I know are more kind of doing that social thing about knowing whether they should or should not be out in public. And if we do it right and make fun masks and logo things and make big lips, and we're Americans, for crying out loud. We're creative, and I think you can have the funnest, best masks out there that kids would want to wear, and the birthday boy ought to have, or the birthday girl ought to have, the birthday bomb.com kid. I just think we have to. I'm not going to do fear. I'm not going to do fear. Every time it creeps in, Doug, what I try to do is go, okay, yeah, but what else could be true? We could be fearful that they might not want to do it, but what else could be true? And if you can't come up with a very good answer yet, ask it again. What else could be true? What else could be true? What else could be true? I know I went straight to solution, but I think there's some fun things that we can do that will make it okay. And I think private groups and scheduled events are going to be the order of the day. I think that's how we're slowly going to get back in. I don't know if I'm right or not, but if I put myself in the business owner, if I own the facility, those are things I think I can control better. So
I think that the point you made there about slowly get back in is going to be important, because whenever, this stay-at-home order lifts in your state or your community, and people can go out again and businesses can reopen, no place is going to be like a faucet turned back to up to 100% and everyone's flooding back in again. Whether it is by regulation of having things needing to be spaced apart from local municipalities or state governments, or whether that's because we're just not going to have nearly as many people who are immediately going to come back out. We need to recognize that it will be kind of a slower staged process. And there was something that Michael Browning, the CEO of Urban Air, had mentioned, and he talked about the curve where you're going to have the early adopters,
yeah,
and then the laggards. So that kind of 15 to 20% of the first people who are going to want to go out and go to an entertainment center, we're going to want to go out and have that experience. That initial early adopters, those are going to be the ones that we really, really need to focus on giving an amazing experience and allow them and empower them to be our champions, to blast all across their social media. Hey, I went out. It was great. It was safe. I had a fun time. Because that group of early adopters, they're going to be the ones that convince the majority to come along with them.
Agreed, 100%. Well, listen, this has been great. You and I could talk all afternoon. I'm certain of it. You're just wonderful. And I can't let you go before I ask you the Trainertainment Think Tank question. Our company is obsessed with helping people grow. We think that that's how business grows, and it's how communities get better. It's how families are better, that if we help people grow, it makes a difference. And we try to focus and work with people who want to be extraordinary. So you fit in that class. And I want you to help others by responding to this question. What do you do on a consistent basis, Danny, to help yourself or even others grow?
Well, I'm going to answer that question a little bit differently this time, because I was on about 2 months ago, I think, with Candy, and she asked me that question. But given that the world is a much different place right now, I would say that what I'm doing right now is asking myself, what's the next right thing I can do? What's the next best thing I can do for another person? And I think that is something that we can focus on, and anybody can do. You can ask that question about yourself. What's the next thing I could do today?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. May I ask, what's the last book you've read?
Yeah, I'm almost done with one right now, and it's from Tim Ferriss, and it's his Tribe of Mentors book.
Oh, yeah.
Which to me is like 1,000 books in one. I can only read it like, 5 to 8 pages at a time because there's so much good content. I have to close it and I have to think on it.
Think about it. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I'm reading a lean startup, and it's quite good. So it's a real appropriate read right now, I think. And I keep remembering to try to tell people that's what I'm reading, and I keep forgetting in every single space. So the lean startup, I would certainly recommend it. And he talks about entrepreneurs always operating at a high level of uncertainty. Well, here we are, so embrace that, right? Well, Danny, have a great day. Thank you so much. We'll have you back on Think Tank.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Talk to you soon.